Hey guys, what's up? It is Adrian Mitchell here. We are in another day in the power building series. So if you don't know, this is a series from going from powerlifting and really strength training to more bodybuilding and hypertrophy style of training. So it's going to be a good transition. We are in program, but I think this is the first day that I'm actually filming a back day. So this is going to be heavy back oriented, but realistically, when you're doing power building, the main movement would be deadlift. So it's going to be a deadlift session, and today I'm going to be doing the rack pull, or really like some kind of a block pull where I'm not pulling from just the floor. I'm pulling kind of from the middle. So I'm going to work up to my heaviest weight, and for my heaviest weight, I'm going to actually focus in on, trying different hand positions and grips. So on my way working up to my top set, I'm gonna keep playing around with different hand positions. And also I'm gonna play around with the angles of my feet, just so that my body can get used to pulling from different positions and different muscles in the posterior chain can kind of get worked. So we're going to be doing rack pulls, and then for our other movements, I'm really gonna emphasize doing Dimmel deadlifts. So basically they're quasi, kettlebell swing, so they're very similar. And then I'm going to also do some kind of abdominal work, because those are two of the most important muscle groups to develop just overall base level of strength. I think a lot of people forget like how important core strength is, as well as how important your glute strength is to be able to move these weights. So those are going to be some of my workouts. And then for my accessories, I'm going to probably do some more deadlifts, but I'm going to kind of switch up the hand position. Maybe I'll do, focus on doing a double under. Maybe I'll do some kind of a snatch grip, just to really, work on my grip strength and, give my body different feels. And this is something that you guys can implement into your training, right? A huge part of this channel isn't just to document my own fitness journey, but it's to pretty much help you guys as well. So those are going to be some of the things I'm working on. And then, I'm going to also do some leg curls as well. For the accessories, I might not film everything. I might film a couple of the sets and talk to you guys just about some of the things that I like to do, but let's get into it. Okay, so you guys can't tell, but for some of the sets, I'm going sumo stance on this rack pull, which is kind of funky, but I need to work on other parts of the posterior chain to make sure that I'm strengthening them up. And I'm also playing around with the grips. So like this, and I'm going some switch grip stance, but I'm continuing to play around with them. And then once I get to the highest weight, I'm going to probably use my figure 8 grips and go double over. So. On this set, I'm going hook grip.
Okay guys, so today I kind of wanted to do a voiceover and basically talk about, what I'm thinking about and how can I improve my working out and kind of critique myself. So today obviously I'm doing some rack pulls. Rack pulls are a lot harder than just your standard deadlift. So if you haven't noticed, like I'm actually stronger just doing regular deadlifts than doing the rack pull. But yeah, on this set, I was trying to get the goal was to get 3 to 5 reps, but I ended up kind of only getting 4, quasi 4. So the goal here is like, in an ideal world, is not just to get the weight up and move it from point A to B, but to be able to hold the weight all the way at the top for a couple seconds. Next, you're seeing me do the Dimmel deadlifts. This is my first time, or second time really, implementing the exercise into my working out regimen. But here, something that I noticed is my back is straight, which is good, but I want to push my hips back a lot more and really get a stretch on my hamstrings, because that's how the hamstrings are really activated. Obviously, this workout is or exercise is good for your glutes, as well as your back, and as well as your hamstrings. But if I really want to get the most out of it, I need to be able to stretch the hamstrings a little bit more. So that really encompasses going a little bit deeper. I think playing around with different grips and hand positions, though, has been good just to build up my grip strength. Here again, you see me do rack pulls. And as I said, once I start to back down with the weight, I actually won't use straps. So one of the things that you'll notice, though, is that when I'm doing my deadlifts on these rack pulls, I keep re-engaging my lats, right? And you can see me kind of get upset because I missed the last rep, but I keep re-engaging my lats. So instead of like having my lats completely sunk in and start working from there, I keep re-engaging. Something like that is okay if I'm doing a 1 rep max. However, if it's a working set, the lats should be engaged the whole time. If you're having a hard time understanding what I'm saying, basically when you watch me do this rack pull, you can see me re-engaging my lat every time. So it's like I'm snapping my arms down. Something else that I'll note, though, is notice that I'm not using a belt. So each time I'm using less and less equipment. Using limited equipment will help me in the long run as it will strengthen my joints. Next, you guys are going to see me going back to the double deadlifts. On this set, I actually switch the hand position, so I get into more of an underhand grip. So then I'm going to go into my next round of double deadlifts. This time, I actually switched the hand grip and positioning, so my grip strength wasn't really giving out, so it could give me a little bit more room to actually focus on the exercise. One thing that I'm thinking about is actually, really keeping my lats stabled and tucked back. So I'm having long arms, but I'm really sinking in my lats, so they're actually coming back and they're becoming compressed. So it's like it's easier for me to actually hinge. Still, though, you can see that I'm not going low enough, I think, to get a nice steep stretch. But here we're going to talk about something.
In an ideal world, it would be perfect if I could actually hold the weight at the top for 10 seconds just to work on my grip strength. Yeah. And that's why reps are really important, because that way you don't have to worry about your actual deadlift, or you don't have to worry about your grip strength. You can worry more about just perfecting the deadlift. So that set actually took away from me a little bit. But in the future sets, it's always perfect to be able to hold the weight at the top rep for the last for as long as you can, because that's going to build up your grip strength. It's stuff that I've talked about in the past, but I didn't get it there on that set, and that's the big thing. Just reflect on like why you didn't get it, and then next time improve it. Like for example, my set for 450, I failed it, and the last time I did my set for 450, I also failed it. So I gotta really reflect on what's going on with that set. And because the weights aren't going up. So it means that there's still areas to improve.
Now I'm doing some wider snatch grip deadlifts. Still, I think the same principles, kind of apply. So notice how there's some rounding in my back. If I can keep my back as flat as possible, that's what I'm going for. And then I finish with some shrugs. This is really just going to help with your overall grip strength. And I think it's something you guys can all implement as well. Finally, I'm also doing some flutter kicks. Really good for my abdominal wall, but also they're great exercise for your hip flexors as well. So if any of you guys want to get some hip flexor work as well, that is something you really want to strengthen. And you want to have strong hip flexors and really inner thigh muscles for when you're kind of going into that sumo stance and position. So it's a great exercise. Finally, I also finished off with some leg curls. Unfortunately, I didn't film it, or I did, but I deleted the film. So as a result, I ended up, just deciding to talk you guys through some of the things that I do with leg curls. But really what I'm thinking about is stapling my heel to my upper thigh region or my glute area, and that'll be a really good teaching cue for a lot of you guys. But that is pretty much it for the video. If you stayed this long, please make sure to subscribe and like to the channel. That's how channels like this grow. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next.